Okay, so I'm gonna set the stage. I did a post on Instagram. I'm gonna, you know, share a bit there too, but that was kind of like just the tip of the iceberg. There's like a lot more to this story. So I'll give you the tip of the iceberg and then I'm gonna like tell you all the details because they're crazy. Um, so show me the Zillow. Okay, I'll send you the Zillow, Jess. Um, okay, so this is the last live stream I'm gonna do in this house, by the way, which is so fun and crazy. So say bye-bye to to this background because she's not moving with me. Um, so this is like what we thought was our dream home. So we moved in here um in 2022. So hi Megan. Does this update have to do with your Instagram post? It totally does. Hey Adrian. Adrian, you know because we talked about this when I saw you in person. So we moved into this house in 2022. So my dad had passed away from brain cancer, and my son was like 6 months old when we moved in here. And like I just thought certain things were like equated to like family and motherhood. Um, and just to be totally transparent, I probably won't share this part anywhere but here for obvious reasons. But I also felt like very like in caretaking mode with my mom when my dad had passed away. And so this house specifically has a very large mother-in-law suite with like a kitchen and all of this stuff. Kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, laundry room, all of this stuff in this mother-in-law suite, right? So the impetus of buying this house was like from an incredibly emotional place. Does that make sense? Um, of like what I had this vision of with motherhood. I mean, I guess I didn't say the gist, which is that we're selling this house, but there's a crazy story around it. Um, and so I, love this house and like have been really happy here for 4 years. And also like there are just parts of it I really, really don't love anymore. Um, and I think it's like really helpful to be able to say that because I think so often like we feel like once we've gotten the dream, and I like even told the story on here of how I manifested this house and it really felt like the dream, and it was. Felt so magical how it worked out, how we got it, how it happened in this way. I could have like never expected all of these things fell into place like where it just felt like it was supposed to be ours. And so to kind of be like, I don't know that that's like meant to be ours forever was really tough. And I think that this can happen like in a lot of areas in life, like especially when something's really good. Like I see this with my clients a lot. Um, when we have stuff that is like so good and so privileged, like to say something's wrong with it, or I want it to be something different, or I want it to feel different, I think can feel really tough. And almost like we're being ungrateful, or like, how dare we, or all of those things, right? And I definitely had a lot of those feelings. And I also had some feelings about like, um, just like, oh, this was meant to be, like, why am I pushing against it so hard? Until I kind of was like, it just, maybe it was meant to be for a season, but I don't know that it's meant to be anymore. Um, and so that's kind of where I came to. Like, I was like, I love a lot of things about this house, but I really, really don't love like all of the space. I don't love that I feel like we're paying for like this huge mother-in-law suite that's like not getting used and that like definitely does not need to be used right now. I don't love that like when my husband was traveling all the time that like we have all this space and are kind of out here on our own. Like there are so many pieces that were just like, this is not lining up for me anymore. Um, it just, yeah. So you guys get what I mean? Like, was not like, oh my God, we have to get out of here this second or whatever. It was just like a lot of it's just does not feel aligned to like who I am with a mom with a 4-year-old and who I was when I like who I thought I was supposed to be when we moved in 6 months ago. Cause I kind of thought what I was supposed or in those 6 months, I kind of thought like what I was supposed to be as a mom was like having chickens and gardening and having land and making sure my mom was taken care of and having all this space and now I'm like, I fucking hate chickens actually. They kind of scare the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't actually enjoy gardening. Like I haven't had moments where I've enjoyed it, but like as a whole, it's not my thing. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. It's definitely not my thing. And so like one of the things I always talk about in business is like pick what you love to spend your days doing and do that. And what I felt so much here, like in the last probably a year or so is like, we're so often like going out to do something else. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like we were like, oh, spending our weekends in the backyard or something like that. It was like almost the opposite. Like, I was like going to like drive far to be with my friends or like, drive even further to like go to the zoo and like stuff that we like doing like wasn't actually here. And then I was also joking with one of my former clients and friends. We were texting this morning and we were talking about how like even having so much like space in a home when you have like one kid who just always wants to be on top of you is so funny because like at the beginning of motherhood, I thought like, oh, he'll love having like a big playroom and whatever. And now that I'm like in motherhood, I'm like, he doesn't want to go in a fucking playroom by himself without me. Like he wants to be wherever I am, like it's just so funny how it's changed. So anyway, here's some of the crazy stories. Chickens are dinosaurs. Maybe that's why they scare me. I so resonate with all of this, and this is why we sold our house in September. Amazing. Tonight, what did y'all change up? Tell me, I want to hear. Like you moved from like whatever, like did you have like a lot of space into something different? I'm so curious because like I'm still like I don't know what the next phase is gonna feel like. I'm gonna tell you what it is, but um, so I'm starting to have all these feelings like this just isn't it. And one of the ways I was kind of explaining it to Kenny is like, hey, I feel like I'm like, a single mom half the time when you're traveling all the time. Like, this is not how I would have my life set up if that were true. And like, he really got that from like a mental load standpoint. But I feel like I was like not doing a good job of communicating, like, no, I just mean like all of it. And so I was kind of like floating this to him over time and it was just not landing. Like, he would step up in terms of like mental load, but it was not landing in terms of like this house is not the right house. So finally, earlier in the year, probably like I don't know. It doesn't matter. Earlier in the year, I like sat him down and had like a very big talk and was like, this is not it for me. I really want to move. Like, I want something different. And he was not feeling it. He was like, this was the dream home. Like, this is the home. Like, I think we should be able to make it work here. And honestly, I feel like kind of gave me a little bit of pushback in terms of like, everything is so great here. Like, what's the problem? Kind of thing. And I was like, it is. That's not the problem. I just like am craving something different. Hey Michelle, good to see you. This is also why I'm moving to LA. I don't care if it costs more at this point. I feel so much more alive there. And no winters is the move. Yes, we like have to do the thing that makes us feel alive. Yes. Um, so anyway, we have this big conversation. He gives me quite a bit of pushback. You guys are ready for this? 3 days later, out of the fucking blue, and I cannot tell you enough how much I mean out of the blue, he got laid off. I felt like a witch. Like I was like texting my friends and being like, I think I might actually be a witch because what the fuck? And it was so outrageous and out of nowhere. So Kenny was like a director in his company, and several directors got laid off all at once with like absolutely no impending like knowledge or anything. It was wild. Um, I just can't get over it. I was like, oh man, I'm good at this. so so that happens. And then it still takes him some time, but he finally, I think, had this like revolution, which like he would tell you he like really needed to have, which is like the big job and the big home and like kind of like the value he was putting in that of like his worth and stuff like that. It just like really gave him new perspective. Because I think he felt a lot of the things I felt about this home too, of kind of like, do we really need all this space? But I think for him, it was such like an anchor of something important or like something that he felt like signified, like, you know, how he has like, been successful and showed up and all of those things. And so it took him a bit of time, but he was like, okay, I'm finally kind of like getting what you're saying. And I was like, amazing. So like, let's contact our realtor. Let's do it. And he was like, listen, I'm like kind of getting on board, but like, you know, whatever. Like, I still need a little time. Okay. So we contact our realtor. And even though he was like, I still need a little time, I'm like, well, let's see what they say. So we contact our realtor and they're like, it's probably going to take at least 60 to 90 days for the house to sell. Um, did I miss where you're going? No, not yet. I haven't checked yet, but I'm going to tell you in a minute. Sunshine tax is worth it. I love sunshine tax. That's so funny. I love that. Um, so we contact our realtor. They're like, probably 60 to 90 days. And so Kenny's like, okay, well, at least I'll have some time. Like, I'm getting there. So we decide to like move forward again, which um it sells in 12 hours. Okay. So it was just like so fast. And then, and this is the part that's like, I think important to say about this too, because I have like a lot of like lessons and points I want to make. So it sells in 12 hours. Very unexpected, but I think we were both kind of like, oh shit, like this means it's the right thing. Let's roll. So that weekend, I go to Sarah's birthday party in West Palm, my best friend. And I drove, which lesson learned, but I spent 8 hours in the car by myself that weekend. And I just absolutely fucking spiraled. I had done like all of this, like, this is the right thing for us. And I had done all of this convincing. Kenny had finally got on board. We like got it sold in 12 hours. And I'm in the car and I'm like, oh my God, I'm making a mistake. Oh my God, what if I'm making a mistake? Oh my God, I'm selling this house. That's like the dream house. What am I doing? Like, if we ever wanted to get back into a house with this much land, like, how would we even be able to find that? Da da da. And I like just spend this entire 8 hours spiraling. For anybody that saw me at Sarah's party, I literally probably talked to you about this because I was spiraling. um, and so I get home and I'm like, car time is a portal. It was not taking me to a good place, but I agree with you. So I get home and I'm like, Kenny, I changed my mind, I think. And he's like, because so this poor guy is just like along for the ride at this point. And he's like, I mean, okay, like if you really change your mind, like, okay, I guess. Um, so we text our realtors and we're like, hey, we need out of this deal. Um, and to make a very long story short, uh, I'm trying to even think of how to make this story short. Basically, we tried to get out of the deal, and the buyers trying to buy this house. We gave them like a huge financial incentive to walk away, and they wouldn't. So we got like a lawyer involved and stuff, and basically there was like pretty much no chance we were getting out of this. It was so funny because I called one of Sarah's good friends, who's an attorney, and I was like, we also got a lawyer, but we consulted with her too, and she was like, yeah, like what did your real estate attorney say? And I was like, we didn't have a real estate attorney like in Florida. You just do whatever. And she's like, why are you selling a multi-million-dollar property without a fucking attorney? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, that is such a good question. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And so I was just in this whole spiral, guys. Okay. So pretty much they're like, I mean, we could have still refused and we probably could have like gone to court or whatever, but like basically every person we consulted said like the likelihood that it would go well for us is not high. Um, so then we were like, okay, well, that was a really strong lesson learned, but it also felt like, I mean, this is kind of interchangeable for me, God, the universe. I think of it in the same way, but like it really felt like God had like spoken. It was like, no, you are moving out of this fucking house. Like, stop. It was almost like I was going backwards out of fear. So, like, that's kind of the part I want to share here is like, I wasn't spiraling because I was like, wait, no, I love everything about this house and I actually want it and I'm actually wrong. It was more like, what if I changed my mind later, is what was spiraling me. Like, what if I end up wanting this later? What if da da da? And it was like, right? It was like a spiral out of fear. It was not a spiral to be like, wait, no, this is everything I want. Like that never once came out of my mouth. It was more like, am I giving up something that I should want? Or am I giving up something that like will be harder to find later? Like it was just totally like fear-based. Um, so the second I realized like, okay, we are selling this house, I like really had to just surrender it. Like I actually made my phone background is, oh, I can't show you, it's not up right now. My phone background, a Michael Singer quote, which is like, surrender to what's in front of you and let go of everything it stirs up within you. It's giving you hives. It was giving me hives too. And then there's me who didn't even know that was a thing. I just have a realtor too. Yeah, same. Oh, spiraling out of fear when it's something you actually want. So real. Yep. The what if I change my mind fear is so real. It can relate hardcore. Yes. Like what if, you know what I mean? Like I was like, ugh. And then what's so funny too is, what was I gonna say? Oh, the Michael Singer quote. So it was like surrender to what's put in front of you and let go of everything that stirs up within you. And what I realized it was stirring up within me, which like I'm an Enneagram 8, right? So like I'm the challenger. So I just felt so fucking challenged. Like I felt like somebody was being like, no, I'm taking your house. And like that's what I was having such a big reaction to. I feel so bad for Sarah because I called her. I mean, when they were like, we'll sue you if you try to back out of this deal, I called Sarah and I mean, I think she literally thought someone died. Like I was scream sobbing. I was like, this is bullshit. She was like, what? Like, what is happening? She like thought the world was collapsing. And I'm like, they won't give me back my house. And she was like, holy shit, you need to take a breath. But it wasn't like that. Again, it was like, now I can see it. Like I wasn't reacting to like, oh, I don't want to give up this house. I was reacting to like almost like feeling like, oh, you want to like challenge me. And at first, there was like a huge part of me that was like, fine, I'll go to court. I'll do whatever. I did it. And I remember saying all this to Kenny. And he was like, yeah, I mean, maybe we should think on it for a night, you know? But again, it like wasn't about because I wanted this so bad. It was because I was like, wait, I don't like feeling challenged or whatever. But then when I surrendered it, like again, that quote, like surrender to what's in front of you and let go of everything that stirs up within you. I was like, it's just stirring up my what if I get this decision wrong? Or like, who are they to make me kind of stuff. It's not like I want this so bad. Right. And so it was like so helpful to be like, I'm just like in my shit. And this is forcing me to like work through my shit instead of being like, I'm going to push against this so hard, which again, I think is something we do in business sometimes, right? It's like one of our patterns is activated and we push against it so fucking hard and we make it so hard on ourselves. Like, I cannot tell you how hard I would have made it on myself to be like, yeah, try me. We'll go to court. We'll do it. Like, why would I do that for something that I'm like objectively have been saying for months and months and months I don't even want? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like how we do that with like business and like we'll say like, oh, I don't even like this business model, but then we're like trying to push it into working over and over and over again, you know? So it's just like such a lesson for me and being like, surrender, surrender. And so as soon as I was like, okay, I'm surrendering this, I felt so much more peaceful. I feel like, again, bless everyone in my life because I took them on a ride. Like I was like calling Sarah, like screaming, crying. Then like 2 days later, I'm like, oh, I feel so at peace with this. She's like, you are chaotic as fuck. But like I just had to go through it. She didn't say that in it. I'm teasing. Like she was the most supportive alive. But like I just had to go through a thing. Is Kenny the chillest guy on the planet? He's like a robot, basically. Is a good way to explain it. Yes. I think he was just like, what is happening? Like, but he was also like very much in his own process. Like, I think he really got to surrender much quicker than I did. So, like, back here when he was like, okay, I'm surrendering like the big job and the big house, like surrendering that, I think he was like in a way better place than I was. Like, he almost like learned that lesson here and I had to like learn it over here. But we kind of like both came to the same conclusion being a stubborn woman is an experience, girl. My Taurus bull was like, I will fucking kill you, you know? Um, this is a little funny and a little bitchy, but you know, I am a little bitchy. So the buyers then like were trying to buy a bunch of our furniture because they liked how stuff was set up. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, how dare you even ask me to buy my furniture when you did that to me? Like, no. So that was my like revenge. Does it matter at all? No. Did it feel good? Yes, it did. I'm like, I will pay to have that shit moved before I sell it to you, you know? Anyway, so we finally surrender. And then we're like, we're also now, so it's like important to say this part because it's a big part of it. Now we're further into the window, right? We had actually um, wasted time, so to speak, on going back and forth of like, are we going through with this contract? Meaning like now we had less days to figure out where we were going. So there was like two options for us. Like one was either we were going to move into Tampa, like into the city. Uh, And there are like a lot of pros about that, I think. Like I have more friends that live in there. Um, but like ultimately, I think we just decided like it's not really worth like we have to evacuate for every single hurricane and deal with all of that traffic for like no, we don't need to be in Tampa like for our jobs, right? Um, so the next thing was this one neighborhood that I really wanted to live in. Because what I was like really craving, like I would say the biggest impetus for all of this is like my craving is for Bennett to have more community, like to have a kid down the street. So like our neighborhood right now, like we don't even have sidewalks. Like it's not even a neighborhood. Like we don't have an HOA. We don't have, it's like nothing. Um, I had like such a deep craving for Bennett to have like friendship and community. And there's a community um by us that has like it is like just known for having like a ton of community, and they have like a full-time activities director um that like literally organizes activities for the kids like constantly. They have like this huge club, they have like a huge pool, they have like water slides, like all of this shit, right? It's just like a really family oriented like place, which is like what I was craving. So anyway, I say to our realtors, like, hey, we really want to get into this neighborhood. And they're like, yeah, well, it's really hard to get into that neighborhood. Like most homes sell off market. Like if people want to like get a bigger house or a smaller house, they sell within the neighborhood because nobody wants to leave that neighborhood. Okay. Keep in mind, I have already felt like challenged in this process. And I'm like Enneagram 8 Taurus. So I was like, watch me. So I was like, I am manifesting the absolute shit out of this. Like, I am getting in that fucking neighborhood. I don't care how, I don't care what it takes. Like, we are doing this. Um, so then come to find out, um, like a few days later, a house in that neighborhood goes up listed, which again, crazy. So I was like, we have to get first showing. Like, what do we have to do? So our realtors got us first showing, but they're like, hey, they are like saying they're booking showings like crazy and they have an open house that first day. Like, it's going to be incredibly competitive. Um, Hi, Lace. Lindsay, which, yes. As someone who grew up in Tamarack, knows you'd want to know what neighborhood you're going into, Water Chase. So we there's a whole thing, right? Like there's like so many showings, blah, blah, blah. So that day we go and I'm like, we just have to like come in with like guns blazing in the morning. And so this was an interesting thing. Like my intention in selling wasn't to necessarily like I wasn't worried about like what was happening with the mortgage. I was like, we could have one, we could not, like whatever. But I realized we like had to come in like guns blazing on this one. So we were like, let's go in with an all cash offer. So we go in first thing. We're there for like 10 minutes and we're like, hey, here's an all cash offer. Will you cancel your open house for later today? And they were like, we won't, but thanks. um, so I go back to the open house later that day and I make friends with the realtor. And I'm like, my man, this is our house. Like, you got to help us out. Like, what do we got to do? Like, this is my house. Do me a favor. Like, and we just like shot the shit for a really long time. And I like stayed there and talked to him and was like, seriously though, but like, this is our house. Like, what are like, how are we going to make that happen? And he did. He helped us out and we got the house. Um, just so funny, so wild. Now, I will say, and this is the other, well, let me say the lessons from this part. I feel like it was one of those things where like I feel like I picked the place to put my like intensity, if that makes sense. You know, Christina said I've been there 10 offers and in the neighborhood they told us no way we'd get a house. Fuck yes, right? Um, so I think the lesson on that front was like putting my energy into the right, like funneling it in the right way. Like it was a way better use of my energy to be like, I am getting a house in this neighborhood than it was to be like, I am fighting these people to keep a house I don't even want. Do you know what I mean? Like, feel like I really was in that like I am making shit happen energy. And I'm so glad I channeled it to the right place. Because I think it would have been very easy and honestly very like very like in line with probably like my patterning that is not helpful to have channeled it into the like, try me, you're not getting this house and I'm gonna dig my heels in and da da da. And I'm like so glad I could see that for what it was and actually like channeled it into the right place. So I think that was such a lesson for me is like yes, I surrendered, but I didn't like surrender like I'm not getting what I wanted. I just was like I'm surrendering that I'm not like gonna fight what is very obviously like being put in front of me by like God, the universe, but I am gonna like go after what I want in it. You know what I mean? So I feel like that was like a really important lesson. Like I think that sometimes we can chase things because our patterns tell us to chase things, or we can chase things because they are truly in alignment with what we actually want. And I think like the discernment there is so important. Um, and then the other thing that I think is important to say is like the truth is this new house, like it wasn't like my choice of house. It was like to get into this neighborhood, right? So it's like a beautiful home. Um, and like it's definitely not as beautiful as our current home. And I think just like being willing to accept that trade-off was so huge too. But like the upside is we have no mortgage. And like we can change that. Like I literally have like a design team coming the day we move in. So it's like I can make all of that happen, but I think that's like also the lesson. If I was like, nope, it has to be in that neighborhood and it has to be perfect and it has to be this and it has to be this, like I probably wouldn't have gotten in that neighborhood. Do you know what I mean? And so I think that was like another really helpful thing where like of course everything does have trade-offs. Like yes, we can have what we want and sometimes we have to be like willing to figure out like how the universe is giving us that. Like it wasn't like there were 10 houses in that neighborhood and I had my choice. It was like this is the one. You know what I mean? Um I'm sure Kenny is thrilled this worked out, but also like God is down it's gonna happen again. I know. He is a little bit like this better not happen again. Um such great news. Chasing our patterns, chasing because our patterns have us doing that versus aligned to what we actually want. Such a good distinction and so hard to see when you're in it. So hard. It was really helpful when I was in that roller coaster to have the people around me being like, we love you and support you, but this is like an outsized reaction. Like, I think that's what we need sometimes. Like, it wasn't like anyone was like, oh my gosh, you can't have this reaction, but it was definitely like a reflection to you, like, this is big, but this is like really big reaction, you know? And yeah, like now we're gonna be able to make this house like beautiful and exactly what we want. And I think that's like gonna be really fun and exciting. Like I'm excited to show you guys that the house I had before I met Kenny, I like renovated top to bottom. So I feel like I'm like have some experience in that. So it'll be like fun to do again. Um, and yeah, it'll be like so fun to like even just being like, oh yeah, like we don't have a mortgage, like we could do anything. And here's the other crazy part. Kenny is on like his fourth round of interviews with another company. He's been getting recruited like really hard. And so it literally feels like I mean, I cannot tell you how it feels like when I say everything always works out perfectly for me, I'm like, holy shit, because he's gonna be off for the amount of time that he's getting severance for. And I mean, which, you know, is neither here nor there, but like it's just wild how that works out. And he's going to be off for the entire move. So he has planned, orchestrated, and managed all of the moving pieces of this completely and entirely. I have had to do absolutely not a thing. Like, in what world could I have even possibly orchestrated that happening? Do you know what I mean? Like, what was I going to be like? I want to sell and I also want you to quit your job for 3 months. I mean, come on. It is just like I just cannot get over like the level of perfection. And then also like, and he doesn't even have to work, right? Like, you know, that's like the cool part. I mean, he needs to work because like he needs to be out of the house and stuff, you know, for like our sanity. And he needs to have something to occupy his time. But like right now, he has the move to occupy his time. And it's like, it's just so crazy how like all of that lined up. And so I think it's just like one of those things where it's like, it feels to me like this was like what was meant to happen. And I can see the parts of the journey where I was pushing against it so fucking hard. And I can see the parts of the journey where I was just like, nope, this is meant to be. Everything's working out perfectly for me. Yes, yes, yes. And I can see how like those really played out. And so I feel like it's just continues to be that lesson of like, yes, I can like show up with like I get what I want energy, but when I am trying to control every little piece of it, it is so hard to get what I want. And when I'm like, hey, I'm willing to like do my part to get what I want. Like I'll go to the open house, I'll make friends with the realtor, I'll renovate if I need to, whatever. Like I'll do my part on all of that. But like ultimately, I want the best solution for our family. Like I want a situation where like Bennett has a best friend down the street. I want community. I want more ease. It's significantly closer to Tampa than where we are now. It has like, I mean, even silly stuff like it has a 24-hour guard gate, you know? So like instead of living out here where I'm like, oh, when Kenny is away, sometimes I'm like, it's a little sketch. To just have that, like it just feels amazing. And then our realtor was like, oh, one of my really good friends lives right down the street from you guys. I'll introduce you. They have kids. Like it just has felt so like, oh my gosh, like this is what was supposed to happen. But it is weird to give up that dream like every now and then when we're like getting ready to move and packing and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, like like Bennett's not gonna like grow up in that backyard or whatever. And like there are still pieces of me that is like going to grieve like this vision I had. But again, like that's okay. Like I think that just because we have like grief for the vision that we had, it doesn't mean we don't want the thing, or it doesn't mean we don't move toward the thing. So I think that's really important. Like at every stage of business, you have grief in different ways too. There are so many things I've had to like grieve over time in my business, but it was still right to move on to the next thing. And I think this has been that for me too. Um, where there really are pieces where I'm like, oh, I will miss that, or I will miss this thing. And also like I am so happy about like where we're going and what it's leading to, you know. So much of this is going to catch the replay, but wow, yes. This just happened to one of my best friends. Her husband was let go after 29 years, so unexpectedly, but they're giving him severance and it solves every problem for them, for her business, for him to be home this summer with their kids. Weird way of things working out. So incredible. I love that. Moving is so bittersweet. So many tears when we moved a month or so ago. Yes. Like, it's just so crazy. This other like wild thing too that I like keep thinking about is you guys know I said this at the beginning, my dad passed away. And so we had planted this beautiful tree. I mean, this tree was a whole journey. We like researched all of these trees that we were going to plant to honor him, but the one that we wanted, you could only get in this one place and blah, 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 blah. And so Kenny's uncle actually drove from New York and went to North Carolina and picked up this fucking tree, drove this fucking tree down for us on a truck. We planted this tree. We have done everything imaginable to keep this tree healthy, and it would never stay or take. Like it has just gotten worse and worse. Like it's basically completely dead now. And it's like so wild. Like, I mean, we have poured so much love into this fucking tree, trying to make this like symbolic of my dad. And even that was like such a weird thing to me to be like, oh wow, like we were not meant to be here long term. Like that was such a sign. And I think that's what this journey has reminded me of too, of like actually paying attention to the signs and like whether that's true or that tree just has something wrong with it fundamentally or whatever, it doesn't matter. But to me, that feels really important. And that feels like part of the story I'm creating around like, no, this is what's right for us. And again, it feels like the whole like surrender to what's put in front of you, let go of everything that stirs up within you. Like I am surrendering to that sign and to that piece. And so again, I think so much of this journey was about like, how do you ultimately get the thing you want? But like, yeah, there's going to be trade-offs. There are going to be hard pieces. You have to keep doubling down on like what you actually want and what actually feels good to you. And to be honest with you, I think there is a past version of me that would have never, ever been able to do this. Both in terms of the fact that, like now my mom doesn't have a mother-in-law suite back there. Kenny had a lot of resistance to it. Like there is a version of me that would have been like, I just want to keep everyone else happy. I don't want to push so hard on this. And being the version of me who's like, it is not my job to keep everyone else happy. It's my job to be clear on what I want and then like figure out how we can make that all fit. Like, I think that is really, really something I have stepped into in the last few years. I think obviously motherhood helps with that too. Um, but like it was cool to watch that too, where I feel like the past version of me would have been like, this is such a beautiful house. What's my problem? Everyone else likes the setup. Everyone's happy here. Kenny's good. Like he doesn't want to move. Like I should just stop. Like I'm so used to kind of like being the one that's like closing the gap or being like, I should just deal or it's okay. And I feel like this journey helped me see my like growth in that pretty significantly to be like, nope, still being clear about what I want, still saying what I want, being really vocal about what I want. And again, this wasn't in a way of like, honey, you must. But I think that like me being clear actually helped him get so much more clarity too. So like that was really helpful to see. Like I could have stayed quiet about it and he wouldn't have had to process that stuff about like, oh yeah, maybe like the big job and the big house aren't like all they're cracked up to be. But like because I was willing to say it first, it like almost helped him get there. But like, yeah, it like regardless though, that like wasn't even my job to help him get there. It was just my job to keep going. Hey, this is not what feels best. And I think motherhood helps me do that too, because it really did feel like a lot of it was about like, this is what I believe is best for like Bennett's childhood too. So anyway, that is our crazy ass story. And yeah, so that's what's next for us. So we're moving. Well, so here's the other thing that's kind of funny. Which is like has been so challenging for me too. Um, I don't know a ton about this, all the astrology stuff, but this is what Sabrina tells me is that I have a Taurus sun and a Taurus in Venus. And so I'm like very into like home environment, like, which I believe to be very true. Like, how I feel in my house is like wildly important to me. So I think that's why this impacted me so much when it was feeling off. But also, um, because of that time gap where we had sold this house and we're trying to figure out if, like what was happening legally, and then finding the next one, we have to be out of this house before we can get into the next one. And so we're like moving tomorrow to an Airbnb. We're staying there for like, I don't know, like 8 days, 10 days, something like that, before we can move into our other house. And for me, that is like almost the hardest part because I just want to feel like grounded and get in there. But even that has been so helpful for me because it's made me go, what the fuck do I care? What happens for 10 days if I ultimately get what I want? Like, and I think that's another lesson in this too. I think that's so synonymous with business is like sometimes we're so worried about like the short-term discomfort that we forget about the long game and we're like, ooh, I don't want to have to do that because like, right. And so like part of me with this other house, like that was part of the negotiation when we put in that offer is they were like, yeah, but we can't move till X date. And it was like, am I like, part of me was like, okay, fine, then we can't get it because we can't move in. And then I was like, am I really going to walk away from this thing that I like manifested that I ultimately want because I'm going to have some short-term discomfort because like whatever, I don't want to stay in an Airbnb. No, and I think business is so often that too. Like, what about the short-term discomfort of like learning a new skill or having to like let go of a team member to onboard a new team member or whatever, like there is always short-term discomfort that tends to come with like new things, transition, changes, getting what we want. And like you're allowed to feel that discomfort. Like I'm sure I will bitch to Kenny the whole time we were in the Airbnb. Um yeah, I mean I probably already am. Like we were that whole time we were staying there. I'm like this weekend, I'm like, I actually think we should go somewhere else this weekend. He's like, we already got an Airbnb. I'm like, I think we should go. But like I can also handle that. Like I'm allowed to feel the feelings around that and I can handle it. And I think like holding both of those together is like really important of like I can be like, oh, short term, this is really uncomfortable. I kind of don't like that we feel homeless for 10 days. And also like I fucking got that. Like I can handle that. On the surface, I can be like, oh, I don't like this. And like but like overall, it gets me what I want. Who fucking cares? You know what I mean? Um, yeah, so good to keep an eye on the big picture as someone who can also get caught up in the details and the waiting. Yes, good luck with your transition. Thank you. Short-term discomfort versus long-term gain. Amen. So true, short-term discomfort. We lived in what my kids call the tiny house because our dream home needed a lease back. Oh my God, that's so funny. We're affectionately calling this one, Christina, the lake house because it's on a just like a little lake around here. But we keep saying to Bennett, we're going to the lake house. So like I'm with you. Michelle, you're reading my mind because that is like exactly what I said this morning. I was like, I think we just need to go to Disney this weekend. That's gonna solve a lot of my problems. Um, like a lot. But yeah, like there were just so many pieces where it's like, what do you actually want? How do you actually go for that? How do you not make all of these things so important in the middle? Again, like the um Airbnb or like the fact that like yeah, it's kind of shitty that they like challenged us so much on the house, but like ultimately, whatever, I think it was just like so good to be like, it doesn't matter. We lived in a hotel for a little bit. before we moved into the house I grew up in a beach house. Oh, that's cute. I love that you like remember that too. That you like got to do that when you were younger. That's helpful. Maybe Bennett will remember the lake house. I'm trying to think of like ways to make it special and stuff. Um, but yeah, that was it. So that has been my journey. And what's so, oh, here's the other crazy part. I forgot to tell you guys this. What's so nuts is in this move, I was like cleaning out my desk drawers and stuff, and I found a bunch of old journals and I was going through them. And one of the things I wrote in it, and I probably wrote this in 2020. I wasn't even pregnant yet. Like it just, I don't even know why I wrote it. I don't even remember writing it. Maybe it was 2021. It doesn't matter. I don't even remember writing it. And I wrote, I'm mortgage free by the time I'm 40. What? Wild. And again, that like kind of wasn't even the point of this, but it just worked out that way because that's the offer we had to make to get the house. Um, and so it was like so crazy to see that. I was like, you are fucking kidding me. And it was so crazy to see how like maybe that was like always in progress, because part of being able to do this is we made a lot of money on this house. And so like it's not like it was wrong that we lived here. I like really want to make that thing in that season right. But also like it's what helped like leverage us into the new season. So anyway, here we are. New background incoming. I will let you know. And like also I'm just really trying to be like, permission for me to like not like it if I don't like it. I mean, I think I will really like it. I feel like I'm very clear on like what I want. And like there is never not an opportunity to make a change if I need to. And so I think like that's the permission I'm trying to give myself and going into this. Like when I was spiraling, it was like, this has to be the right, perfect answer and it has to be true forever. And it's like, that is not fucking true. Right? Like that is actually not true. Like I get to go there, and if I live there for 5 years and want to move then too, great. I'll probably have a ton of fun picking out, a new kitchen in the meantime, and we'll make money off of that and go, like I think the same thing with business is like just because you pick something for a moment, it doesn't mean you have to pick it forever. I think I have been unique in that I've picked the same thing in business long term, but I genuinely don't think that's always right for everyone or is the answer for everyone. Like I think that it really is about like what choice keeps you happy. Like this choice has kept me happy. And so it's good to keep doing. And like if it didn't, I would change that too. So that is my story. That is the lesson. Thank you guys for listening. I hope it was a good reminder of like really what it means to like get what you want and also surrender at the same time because I think both of those like really do live together. There's always an opportunity to make a change. You really struggle. It's so easy for our brains to think we make a decision, so we have to be locked in. Yes. Yes. I mean, same. Like I have to remind myself of that, but like that is what I'm really trying to like hold and take with me into this next season. Trying to go by that Michael Singer quote, right? Like surrender what's in front of you, let go of everything that stirs up within you. Just picked a new career path and I have to give myself a pep talk that I'm allowed to do this thing and have full permission to change my mind. Oh, Michelle, you'll have to tell me what it is. Message me. I'm curious. But yes, yes, yes. It is just like you doing the next right thing. Adrian said needed to hear this today. I've been putting so much pressure on myself to pick the right area in LA when the answer is just go and I can move to where I want a year when I've experienced it. Amen. Like, is that annoying? Is that maybe going to short term be uncomfortable to like move again? Of course, but like you can have that, right? That's so helpful for where I'm at in business right now. That riff was cool. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much for your support and your celebration with me in this. It's so fun. I feel like it's like a little weird when you like my house has almost been part of the brand, right? Because I like have my brand photos here and I had my clients here and like it's so weird to like share this as though like, oh my God, this is big news and everybody cares. But also I think like it is like has been like a part of the journey you guys have watched me go on. And so it's like feels so good to be able to like tell you this next part. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here with me and I will see you next week. Where will I be next week? Oh no, next week is Memorial Day, so I will not see you next week. I'll see you the week after. And I don't know where the fuck I will be then. I will be in my new house then. Crazy. All right, so I will talk to you guys then. I hope you all have a beautiful couple weeks. Bye, y'all.